Hello YouTube. Today it's time for a comparison between the LG Nexus 5 and the LG G Pro. Here you have the LG Nexus 5. The front is dominated by the 5-inch Full HD IPS LCD display. It has a layering of Corning Gorilla Glass 3. On the top you have a 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera, a unique circular earpiece and some sensors. On the bottom you have a multicolor LED notification light. On the left side you have a volume rocker and nothing else. On the right side you have the power button, a SIM card tray. On the bottom you have a loudspeaker, a micro USB port and the primary microphone. On the top you have a 3.5mm jack for connecting your headphones and the secondary microphone for noise cancellation. The rear is made out of rubbery plastic and feels great to hold. Here we have a 8 megapixel camera with Sony XMOR sensor, a single LED flash and the prominent Nexus branding. Here we have the LG G Pro. The front is dominated by a 5.5-inch Full HD IPS Plus display. On the top we have some sensors, a earpiece and a 2 megapixel front-facing camera. On the bottom we have the hardware home button and two capacitive buttons flanking it. On the left hand side we have the volume rockers and the quick response button, as LG likes to call it. You can assign the quick response button to any app you like. On the right hand side we have a lone power button. On the bottom we have a micro USB port and a primary microphone. On the top you have the 3.5mm jack, an IR blaster and the secondary noise cancellation microphone. The back is made out of glossy plastic and feels slippery in the hand. We have a 13 megapixel camera with Sony XMOR sensor, a single LED flash and the speaker. Here we have the LG branding. In this part we are going to compare the displays of the LG Nexus 5 and the LG G Pro. Both have Full HD IPS LCD displays. The Nexus 5 is a 5-inch one while the G Pro has a 5.5-inch display. The Nexus 5 has a layer of Corning Gorilla Glass 3 while the G Pro has a layer of Corning Gorilla Glass 2. Let's start by turning both these displays on. You can see both displays are tack sharp. There is no pixelation and the pixel density in both are way higher than 300 pixels. 300 pixels per inch is considered the bare minimum for the human eye not to notice any pixels. Let's check if there is any color shifting issues or viewing angle issues in either of these. The colors look spot on the Nexus 5. From this angle too, there is no color shifting. From the bottom it's the same story. Same again from the top and from the other side. There is a bit of backlight bleed. You can see it from certain angles, but you cannot notice it unless you are looking for it specifically. Let's move on to the LG G Pro. Oops, let me go back to the home screen. Here you can see the colors are spot on in the top down position. There is a bit of brightness fade, but the colors still look very good. From the bottom is the same case. Same from the other side. And from the top. The display technologies are very similar, so you can expect similar qualities from both. There is a bit of backlight bleed on this as well, and the viewing angle in extreme situations is a bit worse than the Nexus 5, but it's not a major difference, and the G Pro has an excellent display too. The Nexus 5 is Google's latest flagship, and it's no wonder that it runs the latest OS, Android 4.4.4 KitKat. You can verify the version by going into About Phone. The software experience has not much specialities. It's a simple, clean interface. You have the notification bar here with the quick toggles. Here you have a Google Now screen, and you have the stock Google applications like the stock dialer, Chrome, and the stock contacts app. The LG G Pro is LG's former flagship phablet, and it currently runs on Android 4.4.2 with LG's homegrown Optimus UI. But for the sake of comparison with the Nexus 5, we have installed Android 4.4.2 KitKat stock version. You can verify the version by going into Settings and About Phone. The user experience on this ROM is very similar to Nexus devices, with the stock like phone dialer, the Chrome web browser, and the stock contacts application. In this part, we will do a speed test between the Nexus 5 and the G Pro. The Nexus 5 has a Snapdragon 800 chipset with 4 Krait 400 cores at 2.3 GHz. It has an Adreno 330 GPU and 2 GB of DDR3 memory. The G Pro, on the other hand, has an older Snapdragon 600 chipsets with 4 Krait 300 cores at 1.7 GHz, Adreno 320 GPU, and the same 2 GB DDR3 memory. Let's check out the specification of the device through the Android application CPU set. You can see the chipset versions here. First off, we will do a reboot test to see the reboot speed as well as clear the memory for the applications to get full control. Both the devices are powering down and the Nexus 5 is off, and it has started rebooting. The G Pro just powered off. We have the boot animation on the Nexus 5. And the boot animation on the G Pro. The G Pro has booted up, and the Nexus 5 has booted up. Let's give some time for the devices to settle, then we will do the speed test by opening these applications. Now that both devices have settled down, let's try out the speed of each device by opening these apps. Both devices are connected to the same Wi-Fi network, so shouldn't have any network issues. Let's start with Android Central. 3, 2, 1. The apps are refreshing, and the Nexus 5 is done, followed closely by the G Pro. The difference is almost negligible. PS File Explorer. 3, 2, 1. Nexus 5 is done, followed closely by the G Pro. Hangouts. 3, 2, 1. Nexus 5 is done. The G Pro was a bit behind, but not much difference. Let's try out YouTube. 3, 2, 1. Nexus 5 is done, followed by the G Pro quite a bit later. Google Keep. Almost same timing on both, Flipkart, Nexus 5 is done, followed by the G Pro. Google Maps, Nexus 5 is done, followed by the G Pro. WhatsApp, Nexus 5 is done, followed by the G Pro. Instagram, Nexus 5 is slightly faster, but the differences are very low. Facebook, Nexus 5 is done, followed by the G Pro. Tap a Talk, Nexus 5 is done, G Pro still loading. So as you can see, the differences are almost negligible. In some apps like YouTube there is a bigger difference, but in most cases you shouldn't see much difference. Let's try out the web browsing performance in Google Chrome. Let's close all the apps. Let's go to HTML5 test. Three, two, one. G Pro was faster there. Let's try out another website. Here we have a bit of a problem because the Nexus 5 loaded the desktop page while the G Pro loaded the mobile page. Let's try refreshing the page and clicking the desktop icon here. Nexus 5 is almost done. Nexus 5 is done, followed by the G Pro, which just finished. Let's try out YouTube. G Pro is done, followed by the Nexus 5. In this part we are going to compare the speakers of the LG G Pro and the Nexus 5. Let's start with the Nexus 5 here. I'll play a sample audio. The loudspeaker is on the bottom in the Nexus 5. You can see the volume is increased to the max. Now I am going to play the song on the LG G Pro. As you can see, the volume is maxed out. On the LG G Pro, the loudspeaker is on the back and it can get muffled if you keep it on a mattress. Now I am going to play the same song again, but this time the devices are placed on their backs. Let's start with the Nexus 5. Now on the G Pro. So what do I think of the sound quality? Both have great sound qualities, but the G Pro is a bit tinny, and since the speaker is on the back, it tends to get a bit muffled. On the other hand, on the Nexus 5, if you hold it in sideways, say inside a movie or while playing a game, the audio sounds strange coming from one side. Overall, the Nexus 5 has a louder audio and doesn't get muffled if you place it on a pillow or a mattress. Thank you for watching. If you like my video, please like, share and subscribe to my channel for more such videos.